Welcome, everyone, to the Dr. Blue Duck podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the Mandela effect. Is it even in video games? So, this podcast is generally geared towards gaming dads, but all you young whippersnappers out there and all you beautiful people, you're definitely welcome to be a part of the Duck Squad as well. The Bernsteeen Bears are from my childhood in the 80s. It's a collection of books that I read a whole lot as a little kid, but it was to my surprise that when I became an adult, a much older adult, I found out that there was no such thing as the Bernsteeen Bears. They were actually the Bernstein Bears. Yes, Stain. Now, do you remember the Bernstein Bears or do you remember the Bernstein Bears? Another example is Curious George, that curious little monkey. You guys remember him and the man with the yellow hat? Well, what if I told you that Curious George never had a tail? What? Don't monkeys have tails? But Curious George never had a tail. Another example of the Mandela effect is the infamous Darth Vader, where he said, "Luke, I am your father." That's the famous quotes that, hey, us as kids, whenever we went to a fan, we would say those words and it would sound kind of robotic, kind of Darth Vader-esque. Now, what if I told you that Darth Vader never said, "Luke, I am your father"? He actually said, "No, I am your father." Now, this famous quote is misremembered by so many people, definitely me. I misremembered this quote. And what if I told you this, that it was even misremembered by James Earl Jones himself? In a 2016 interview on YouTube, he actually misquoted himself saying it. He actually said, "Luke, I am your father." Now, wouldn't you think the person who originally said the quotes would remember the quotes? Well, he kind of did talk about that, how he misquoted the quotes in a 2017 interview, but still, isn't that kind of weird? Another Star Wars example is C-3PO. Now, do you remember C-3PO being completely golden? I remember the little toy action figures where he was completely golden. What if I told you that C-3PO actually had a silver leg? Yes, go back and watch the original films. He actually has a silver leg in A New Hope. So I don't remember that. Another example is the famous candy bar Kit Kat. Now, if you ever had a Kit Kat bar, you know it's KIT-KAT, Kit Kat. But what if I told you there was no such thing as the hyphen being in between Kit Kat? There was never a hyphen. Now, this brings us to the moment we've all been waiting for, the Mandela effect in video games. Well, guess what? It does exist in video games as well. Let's go to the old school original NES Super Mario Brothers, to the startup screen. Now, when the startup screen first pops up, before you press any buttons, do you hear music? Is there music in your memory? There is in mine. I hear that good old fashioned Super Mario tune in my head, but guess what? There isn't any music until you press the start button. Also, in Super Mario Brothers, in the very first level, World 1-1, I always remember one of those piranha plants coming up and just grabbing you. But I learned this, there were actually no piranha plants in World 1-1. I remember one, but there were none. There's no piranha plants until World 1-2. Now, talking about those piranha plants, do you remember being on those tube pipes, just kind of standing there, and then the piranha plant pops up and eats you? I do, but I guess that never happened either. So the piranha plants will not come up if you are standing on that pipe. Now, in Super Mario Brothers, you might remember after beating a castle, you see Toad and Toad says, "Thank you, Mario," but the princess is in another castle. Well, he actually never said that. He said, "Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another castle." You guys remember that? So overall, is the Mandela effect real in video games? Are some of us actually from an alternate universe and some of us are from the original universe? Or is this just multiple examples of the power of collective memory, even when we collectively remember something falsely? Yeah, let me know. Let me know, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Always be kind, use your minds, and game on.